It's been a while since I've uploaded, and not that anyone cares, but I figured I would discuss some stuff I've been doing during COVID. I caught it. That was not fun. I got over it. So, I was watching movies a lot during that time. And so let's discuss the movies I saw that were new. I only saw one movie in theaters. It was after I was immune from COVID, and that was Tenet. I like Tenet. On my Christopher Nolan tier list, below The Prestige, below The Dark Knight, below Inception, above Insomnia, below, Memento, below Memento. I think that's all of them, and the rest of the Batman movies are probably below it. I like it, but it's not one of my favorites he's made. What's up, Eddie? So I would say that it was good, but it wasn't great. I mean, it was great, but it wasn't, like, compared to some of the other stuff he's made, because we're comparing this on the Nolan spectrum. I'm a Nolan cuck fanboy. I'm a big fan of him. The Prestige is one of my favorite movies ever made. So, I don't know, I like this. I especially like its slant on time travel. Some of it's, special effects, I guess I'd say. Some of the stuff they were able to pull off was really good. I highly recommend seeing it in the theater. It was great. I know COVID is a thing, but if you happen to have already gotten it and are immune, go out and see it. Or if you're not too worried about it, the theaters were empty anyway. You're not going to get it. It was great. It was fun. The next movie I saw, also in a theater, I lied. I did see this one in the theater as well with my brother and my mother, who both liked it, is The Kid Detective. I think it's The Kid Detective. It might be The Child Detective. The Kid Detective. Pretty sure. Anyway, The Kid Detective is a movie about what happened to Encyclopedia Brown or like Nancy Drew if they like grew up and never did anything else. Like they're still solving the case of the missing cat when they're like 28, and it was really entertaining. It was pretty funny. I found myself laughing a lot. There's a particularly good bit with this ice cream pass that the kid was given. It was pretty funny. There's some other good jokes. The acting was all really good, especially the guy who played the kid detective was very, very good. I actually thought this movie was kind of dark and interesting, and towards the end of the movie I found myself getting more and more into it, like outside of it being a comedy. I just say it's a solid movie. I really recommend this one. I'm going to give this one a 8.5, leaning towards 9 out of 10. I really liked it. I mean, just little things like some of the jokes didn't land. There's a few characters that weren't really necessary, but they were sort of funny, so I guess that's okay. And there are some bits I might have cut. So, 8.5. Really good movie. Solid. I think about as good as you could possibly pull off a premise like this, and I'd actually really look forward to seeing a sequel to this if it ever happens, although unfortunately it's only getting a theatrical release right now for some reason. It might be a TIFF movie, I'm not sure. So I don't know why they're doing that, but it's not doing well at the box office because no one's going to see movies during COVID, and it's also an indie movie, and I think the best place possible, and I don't mean this condescendingly, would be like Netflix, where people would stumble onto it, because it was a great movie, and it was a movie that I don't think people would go and see in theaters necessarily, which is kind of a shame. But all in all, I recommend this one. Go check it out in theaters or wait for it. I'm sure it'll come to DVD at some point. So go see it when it does that. The next movie I watched last night on Friday the 13th instead of Friday the 13th because I wasn't in the mood for it. And it was called Love and Monsters, and I got it on Amazon. You can rent it there. I recommend this movie, but this one's going to be about a 7 out of 10 for me. For one thing, I don't know what it was about the movie. I really liked the premise. For like a quick synopsis, it's like the world has become overrun with giant creatures, specifically like reptiles. So like reptiles, insects, and amphibians, like cold-blooded creatures, have mutated to be giant or changed completely. And like 95% of the world's population is wiped out. And this guy ends up meeting up via radio with his old girlfriend, who he thought was dead, who turns out to be alive. And he goes on a trek to find her through this crazy monster world, even though he's kind of pathetic and he's not really good at fighting. And it was a comedy. dog is just making all kinds of noise over here. It was just a comedy, and a pretty good one. Had some cool action scenes. But what I really liked about it was the monster design and some of the monster ideas and some of the stuff there was really fun. Things I didn't like, and the reason it's like a 7, leaning towards the bottom of a 7. I thought some of the jokes didn't work for me, but that's fine. Some jokes don't have to work. I laughed a couple of times, and I found the movie overall enjoyable. But there was just something off with the writing. Maybe it was just me, but every single Chekhov gun that was set up, I saw coming a mile away. Like, the second they would say, like, oh, there's this thing, and instead of it saying, like, oh, that's a cool world building, it felt like, oh, that thing's going to show up later for sure. And then, sure enough, it does. And there was other things that were like, well, this is weird. And another thing with this movie that I thought was weird, the dog is the biggest ex machina of all time. Okay, so I'm just going to slap up a spoiler, because I got to talk about specific things that change the lighting on my camera. There we go, back to the cool blue. There's specific things I want to talk about, so straight up spoilers. So in this movie, and please watch the movie. Maybe I'm sounding more negative. I enjoyed it. It's still a 7 out of 10. Good movie. But there's just some things I want to complain about. So watch it first if you're at all interested in that premise. You'll probably enjoy it as a monster movie like I did. So the main character meets this dog that lives in a bus, and it's like super smart. And he talks to it, and the dog seems to understand him like we're in an Air Bud movie. And I first thought that was part of the joke. And I thought maybe they would do a little, like, underhanded joke at the end where, like, he would talk to the dog, like, do this, this, and this, and the dog would just look at him and not do it. And the joke would be that the dog never understood him at all. But no, they kind of imply that the dog is, like, understands everything he's saying. Like, at one point, he gets upset with the dog. He didn't even yell at it. He just says mean things to it, and the dog looks sad and then leaves. I thought it was supposed to be ironic. I didn't know what else to think of it because it was really stupid. It felt straight out of a kid's movie, and I just thought that was really weird. All the dog stuff at the end of the movie, they're battling a crab monster thing, and the main character is about to die, and he's abandoned the dog and then walked like 19 miles without it in the middle of a city that has walls and like structural supports that are designed to keep out these monsters, right? And then lo and behold, here comes the dog from inside the fortified structure, and it fins off a giant crab monster for a little bit, and then survives a bazooka blast. And so that didn't work for me one little bit. That was really bad. I didn't care for that at all. The other thing that I thought this movie was, I saw this coming, and that's kind of why I was actually excited for it. So the guy's going for this girl, but he hadn't seen her in 7 years, and she never really sounded that enthusiastic over the radio, and he's kind of a simp. And so, I mean, again, spoilers, when he gets there, she's just like, yeah, I'm not interested. I'm not the same person I was 7 years ago. We were like 17, and I'm like in my 20s now. I had met another guy, and, you know, he died, and I'm not ready to be in a relationship. I don't want to be in a relationship with you. And I was like, wow, that's actually kind of poignant. Like, this guy was doing something kind of weird, but his whole journey was for nothing. And then I actually thought that was kind of an interesting idea. And I'd actually kind of called it early because, again, she didn't seem that enthusiastic. And it was kind of like a really good scene where she talks him down, is like, I'm sorry, but I'm just not interested. Kind of a good thing that sometimes people need to learn, that just because you do something nice doesn't mean that girl's going to go out with you. But no, they undercut it, and they end up together at the end, completely reversing the thing I thought was relatively poignant and kind of interesting. And he just, like, kisses her out of nowhere, and she's just like, yeah, okay, whatever. So I thought that was weird. Considering that was like the romance thing was like half the movie, I thought that was sort of undercut. But before that, the movie was good. The standouts I really like. I think it was Michael Rooker. I never looked it up, but I was like, oh, it's Michael Rooker. So if it's not, I'm sorry, guy who looks like Michael Rooker, but I'm pretty sure it was you. And his daughter, I found that stuff pretty entertaining. There's a specific action scene that reminds me of Tremors that I liked, and again, I like the monster design. I thought this movie was relatively entertaining through and through. I would have gone dark with this movie. I don't know. I would have, like, there's his family at home, and he leaves them to go on this adventure, and then they imply that they're being attacked by monsters, and he tries to get back. I would have had them dead at the end, man. I would have beat this kid up. But it was a goofy comedy, and I just, like, you know, I'm a dark guy. I like dark endings. So I don't know. Maybe I was projecting my own wants onto the movie. Check it out. See if you like it. I talked about this one a lot, mostly because it was the most recent one I'd seen, but I really like it. I like it. It was, not really like it. I like it. I really liked Kid Detective, and I really liked Tenet. Tenet, I'm going to give an 8.5 out of 10 as well. One issue I forgot to bring up with that movie is you might want to bring some earplugs because the audio mixing was bad. I know other people have talked about this, but it was really bad. It blew my eardrums out. There were some scenes where you couldn't hear what people were saying. So yeah, not ideal in your million dollar Christopher Nolan movie. Next movie I'm going to talk about is my favorite I've seen so far this year, Relic. It's a horror movie from Australia. And like any foreign horror movie that manages to make it to American cinemas, it's probably going to be pretty good. Yeah, this is a really good movie. I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. Right off the bat, this is a great horror movie. Poignant message. It breaks my heart to see the reviews on this. At this point, it's just come to be a thing where, like, I expect a movie that has a very high critic score and a very low audience score and is a horror movie to be really good. And this movie did not disappoint one little bit. It's about dementia and the fear of aging and losing yourself, and also how goddamn scary the core premise of this movie really is when you get into it. I'm not going to spoil it at all. I'm not even going to throw up a spoiler warning. See Relic. See it. It's on Amazon. You can buy it or rent it. It's in theaters. You can go see it in theaters. This movie slaps. Just go see it. It's great. Its basic premise is a family, a mom and her daughter move into the grandma's house to look for her after she goes missing after struggling with dementia. She just disappears. And they find all these unsettling notes and like weird stuff around the house, and they can't find their grandma. And this movie takes a ton of twists and turns. It comes together at the end with a great moral. I really like this movie. This movie is up there with like Heredity and The Witch, and I recently saw It Comes at Night and also really enjoyed that movie. That movie is super poignant right now. COVID watch recommended. That movie got a bad rap. Don't watch the trailer. Watch the movie. Know nothing about it because nothing comes at night. It's a mismarketed movie. Another movie I saw briefly during COVID that I want to spotlight. Not an indie movie. I've been talking about indie movies in Tenet. But this one buttered my jimmies. I made a couch review about it, and I recorded it in an abandoned house with my brother. And the audio was terrible because the house was super echoey. So that was a bust. And never uploaded it. The movie I'm talking about is Scoob. The Scooby-Doo animated movie. It sucked. I hated this movie. I hated it enough to make a couch reviews about it, which is like my seal of quality with movies sucking. My points I made in that I'm going to make again here. They tried to make Scooby-Doo into a superhero movie and also tried to make a cinematic universe for all of the cartoons from Hanna-Barbera, but not the good ones, or not the ones I knew. Like, the Flintstones weren't there, and they even had an opportunity to do the Flintstones for a little bit. I don't know. It was just a weird movie. I really didn't like it at all. It's the Scooby and Shaggy stuff was just out of place because they're fighting supervillains in a giant supercar. They're not solving mysteries. There's one half-assed unveiling in the movie, and it was just for the punchline of it being Simon Cowell because they animated him in. Like, the whole plot of this movie revolves around getting Simon Cowell in it more than once, and that's just embarrassing. Everything about it was terrible. There's two parts I like. I like the bit where I like the beginning bit. It was cute, stupid but cute. Where Shaggy and Scooby meet the rest of the gang. It doesn't. I remember as a kid there was a different, but I don't know. I don't really care. It was fine. It was cute. It was what I expected. And then after that, the second the superhero shit got introduced, I just checked out. And like at the end, they're battling like real Greek gods, and I'm like, what the fuck is this Scooby-Doo movie? Why are they battling gods? Why is there Sepphoris, the three-headed dog? Why in the fuck is this in the movie? And there was no answer because it was there to sell toys or to introduce these superhero characters because superheroes are popular. But so is goddamn Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo's popular. Just make a Scooby-Doo movie. I sound like one of these neckbeards complaining that like Black Panther wasn't the way he was in the comic books or whatever. But like, oh god, it was terrible. And I watched this with a friend, and we were both just flabbergasted. We were like, oh yeah, Scooby-Doo. We like Scooby-Doo. That's a thing I like. Boy, was I naive. The other thing that they did in this movie... Well, let me go back to the two things I like. So the two things I like that opening bit. And I like this one scene where it's like Thelma, Daphne, and Fred, and they're in the mystery machine, and they get pulled over by a cop who's hot, like a hot chick, and then it's revealed to be the villain in a mask, and Fred talks about how he's sexually confused, and it was really kind of funny, because Fred likes traps in the original. Good joke. I don't know if that's what they were going for, but that was my immediate reaction was, oh my god, Fred likes traps. That's a good joke. But I don't think that was intentional. So things I definitely didn't like. Everything else. I mean, literally, the character arc with Scooby and Shaggy growing apart because they want to be superheroes is so stupid. And it's stupid by Scooby-Doo standards. Which is not a standard you want to meet. Your Scooby-Doo standards, like it's stupid for Scooby-Doo, that's bad, dude. It's really easy to make a Scooby-Doo story. They stumble into a weird place with a weird monster, and they have to solve it, and then it turns into some sort of conspiracy theory. It's just a whodunit, but with a monster and those goofy, likable characters. Another thing they did was they switched the voice actors. The Shaggy and Scooby ones didn't bother me. I don't know, they didn't bother me. The Shaggy one was kind of off, but the rest were completely off, and I don't know why they did that. The voice actors are still alive. It's not like you need, like, was it like Seth Rogen? Whoever it was they had in there. Like, you don't need those guys. It's Scooby-Doo. People who like Scooby-Doo are going to go see the Scooby-Doo movie. You don't need some boner comedy actors in it to, like, sell it. That's not going to do anything. Adults aren't going to go see Scooby-Doo because someone's in it if they weren't going to see Scooby-Doo already. I just don't... It's all baffling. It's just... I don't know how anyone made so many terrible decisions on this movie. This video is just turning into my Scooby-Doo rant, but I really hated that movie. It was like my least favorite movie I've seen in a while. It made Venom look like Citizen Kane, and I like Venom because of how bad it is, but you know. So yeah, I hated the Scooby-Doo movie. It made the Emoji Movie look good. I would rather watch the Emoji Movie again than I would the Scooby-Doo movie. Oh, fuck, would I? God, I watched that one time in college with Sam, and oh, I'm thinking about it now. I would not want to watch either of them again. Yeah, I think I'd watch the Emoji Movie again, because that had some, like, ironic rewatchability value because of all the memes, and this was just a dead on arrival pilot turd. I just hope that it bombs hard enough that they don't make another one, and if they try to do Scooby-Doo again, they hire someone who actually likes the franchise. Like, do what they did with the Lego movie and the Spider-Verse movie. Like, get someone who really likes the franchise in there to make, like, a love letter to it. I don't know. It's just something better. It's not hard to make a Scooby-Doo movie, people. It really isn't. Who wrote that movie? I'm looking you up. You're an idiot. Who directed it? Idiot. Warner Brothers, you're stupid. I mean, these are the same people who make the DC movies. I don't know why I'm surprised. Although, I'm liking what they're doing with DC right now. I'm not gonna lie. Some interesting things happening over there. Hopefully we won't end up back here again, talking about what they did that was terrible and I didn't like it. Alright, so that's it. That's the movies I saw that were new, I think. Well, those are the ones I can remember. If you didn't make this list, and I did see you, you're probably like a 6 out of 10 because I forgot you existed. Sorry. Scooby-Doo review, like, score-wise, I'm going to give Scooby-Doo a 2 out of 10 because the Fred Trap joke was funny. Congratulations, you did it. You got one good joke. Okay, so in one of my old videos, I asked about ketchup. I had a bottle of ketchup on my desk, and I asked, can you drink expired ketchup? And it sat on my desk for about a year. I kept it. It's been out here for about 2 years now. Can I still drink that ketchup? Someone let me know in the comments, and I'll make a video of myself drinking it. Alright, bye. So, I'm here because I haven't made a video in a while, and I'm working on some big stuff. I've got a show I'm making where I rip off Red Letter Media directly. No, I mean, kind of, but not really. I got a show I'm working on. I went to, what do you call it, a Half Price Books, and I bought all of the combo DVD packs that they had, and me and my brother have been watching them and recording, and so we've watched 3 ghost movies, and they're terrible. They're literally worse than anything I've ever seen in my life. They're worse than anything I bet most people have seen. One of them is officially my worst movie I've ever seen. So we're gonna discuss those, and I might make a series out of it. I don't know if I can agonize through it again. I also got a couch reviews for Mulan I've been working on, so I've got that out.